All right, so let's do our mobility session. And I invite you to come onto your back. We've got the mat, obviously, the 2 blocks and the belt that we will use in this session. So draw your knees in, close your eyes, and rock around a little bit. And let's begin our practice with pandiculation stretches. So we're folding in without holding our knees. So fold in into a little ball without holding the knees, and then stretch right out into a big starfish shape. And it might be as you stretch, you might yawn, because pandiculation is like a yawning open in the body. And then let's fold in again. So folding into the center without holding on. And then yawn open into a big star shape. If you yawn, let it happen. And then let's roll over to the right side. So roll to the right and stretch just the top side. So the arm and leg reach up and out, and your fingertips and toes are still touching the floor. So you're making a bit of a moon shape. Take another breath in this moon shape stretch. And then fold back into the center. Let's do the other side. So roll to the left, and the right arm and leg stretch up. You can still touch the floor with the toes and the fingers. Take another breath. And then fold back into the center. Let's do the side stretch again. So roll to the right so that you can stretch the left side. Your knee, the bottom side, elbow and leg can bend. So you're just stretching the top side. Take another breath. And then coming into side stretch on the other side. So you're stretching the right arm and leg up and down, pulling yourself open. You want to get right into the belly. So you're stretching so deeply that your belly feels the stretch all the way between the pelvis and the ribs. And then let's come into the center. We're going to do the diagonal line now. So it's the twist. So just bring your legs down and your arms up, but get floppy. Just shake your right foot. That right foot is going across to the left side, but the right hand is going to stay on the right side. Right foot comes across. There'll be a twist through the body. So let the leg come all the way across, and then pull the right hand to the right and the right leg to the left. You might even use your left hand on your hip and push down a little bit. So you're stretching on diagonal line. Take another breath here. Stretch like somebody's pulling your leg and your arm up and down, and then come into the center. Just fold in and then get floppy. Arms up, legs down. Okay, that left foot comes across to the right side. So you create a diagonal line through the body, a twist line, and then reach the left hand to the left side, reach the left foot to the right side. You can use your right hand on your pelvis and push down to encourage a little bit of space between the ribs and the pelvis on that twist line, that diagonal line. Another breath here. And then let's go again to the diagonal line. So fold in, flop out, right foot to left side, and stretch across the diagonal line. These pandiculation stretches are very yawny. So if you yawn while you're doing it, that's great. And then fold back in, last one. Flop down, and then left foot to right side, pulling yourself into that diagonal line as though somebody's pulling you. And sometimes when I do this on retreats, when I'm in real life, I would pull your leg down and pull your arm up, or get somebody else to pull your arm and pull your leg, and then come back in and roll into the center into a little ball. Okay, let's do some work where we've got bent knees. Let's rock our pelvis so that we can arch and curl and wake up around the sacrum, around the lower back. So arching and curling, arching and curling. And then slow that down so you can yawn it open. So it's just yawning open into the arch. Take a breath. And then curl and pause. So arch, which is sticking your bum out. That's a little nice opening in your belly, opening in your chest, switching on the muscles around the lower back. And then curl, lifting your bum up. So you've got a big dip in your belly, lifting your bum. You're just allowing the lower back to come into a flexion point. So arch and curl once more. Arch spine. That's a nice wakeful activity in the lower back there, and then curl, let the lower back become a forward bend, and then rest. All right, let's draw the knees in and do our ankles. So knees are in, and you're going to swim like a duck across the lake. Paddle, 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 paddle for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften your feet completely. Bring your knees open, and then spin the feet into circles in one direction for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften for a moment. Let your feet soften because we're going in the other direction. So circles in the other direction. If you can't remember which direction you did, just go in any direction. So circles in the other direction for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and soften. Okay, close your knees, hands underneath the knees, karate chopping the backs of your knees. You can close your hands over your knees and then flex your feet. Now kick like a kid at the side of the pool. Go slowly at first and then speed up. Kick, 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 kick for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then get floppy. Feet onto the ground. Just widen the feet off the edges of the mat and then roll from side to side. This is about asymmetry and twist. When our legs are wide like this, we are forming a very tilted spinal twist. There's a back leg and there's a front leg each time. Let's emphasize the pull towards the floor with the back knee, pulling towards the floor with the back knee, and then switch, pulling towards the floor with the back knee, not aggressively. None of this is aggressive. And then switch, pulling towards the floor with the back knee, and then switch, last one. All right, we're going to do that again, and just be careful with the next instructions, may not be what your lower back wants. So pull whichever direction you're in, pull both knees to the right side, so the right and the left makes sense. And then you might hook that right foot over the top of the back knee. If that doesn't feel good, you don't have to do that if it doesn't feel good. So you're just putting a little bit of extra pressure into that asymmetrical twist. So the front foot, which is the right foot in this case, onto the back knee, if it feels okay. If that feels okay, stay. If the foot doesn't feel good, move the foot off because we're going to stay here for a little while. Bring your fingertips to the skin, bring your yoga pants down a little bit, and then you're going to pull the skin upwards on the inside of your hip. So it's like you're pulling your underwear from the inside, not the knickers on the outside, but the inner knickers, pulling, dragging your skin upwards. So we're taking this for a couple of breaths. So you put your hands on your skin and you drag upwards if that feels appropriate for you. And you can take a couple of breaths, dragging its superficial fascia, drag. We don't want the skin to stretch too much. We want what's below the skin to stretch. Of course, the skin will be stretching too. And if the skin feels weak there because of previous pregnancies and you don't feel safe, or if you've had surgery in this area and it doesn't feel good, you don't have to do it. Okay, and then we'll release. Let's give ourselves a little wiggle in the middle. So a little rock in the middle so we can reset. You'll feel different on the left side, the side that we've done and the side that we haven't done. It might feel more limber on the left side. Okay, so we're going to bring knees to the left. So the back leg is now the right leg. Hook the left foot over the right knee if it feels appropriate. Might not. If it doesn't feel good on this side, you can opt out of that extra foot thing. Okay, get the skin. So you're on the inside of the hip, bony bit of your hip, and you're dragging. This is kind of from the groin. You want to feel the drag all the way from the pubic area, from the groin area. So you catch the skin, drag up, and take a couple of breaths. And if you're sweaty or you've got moisturizer in your hands and you slide up, just keep getting your fingers to touch the skin and drag up. Couple of breaths as you drag, trying to drag the fascia just underneath the skin. Of course, You'll feel all the fat in your belly and just allow that to be. Allow that to be there, having a sense of happiness that you've got skin at all, that you've got a belly at all, and start to love the fat that's there. Let's love all parts, all areas, adipose or not. So dragging, pulling, I call this the inner knickers. And then unhook a foot. If you've got the foot hooked, grab your yoga pants, pull your yoga pants back up, and then just give yourself a little rock from side to side to reset there, because that's kind of heavy on the sacrum. All right, knees into the chest again. Just pull yourself into a little ball, using your hands to support the little ball. And then place the feet back onto the ground. So let's move and breathe from this position. We're going to lift our arms up, lift our bum up. Inhale, up, 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 up into the zenith point. Push into your heels. Pause for a moment. The thumbs might touch the floor behind you. And then down on an exhalation. If you need extra breaths, take extra breath. And inhale, you're kind of thrusting up. Pause, hold the breath. And then roll down. Hands come with you as you come back to the floor. So we can thrust up and roll down. Inhale, thrust up. Pause. Hold the breath. Exhale, releasing slowly, rolling down. 2 more. Thrusting up. And rolling down. 1 more. Thrusting up. Push. Pause. And rolling down. All right, again, bend your knees to your chest, reset, have a little rock from side to side. Let's do some knee circles. So pin the knees together, take the hands to the sides, and then draw circles in the air with your knees, knee circles. And your pelvis is fairly stable, not pinning your pelvis onto the floor or anything, but fairly stable. Close your eyes and feel the pressure circle that you're creating at the back of your pelvis. So focusing on the pressure circle and then change direction. So allowing that pressure circle, wherever you're squashing at the back, to be nice and even. Maybe getting a little precise about the smooth edges of the circle, that there's not flat bits in the circle. All right, 1 more circle in this direction. And then drop the feet onto the floor. All right, so if you need a little massage out of that, if you need to have a little wiggle around, wiggle. Otherwise, active number 4 pose is next. Hook the right foot on the left knee and push your ankle, the outer ankle, onto the thigh, onto the skin of that left side. The right knee is pulling away from you. So charge up the external rotators first, and then add the left side hip flexors, lift the left foot off the floor, and now push those 2 points together. Soften your jaw, soften your collarbones. Your collarbones and shoulders don't need to help. You let the hips and maybe the belly muscles just charge up. So this is lower body work and not upper body work. So push and breathe. We'll take 3 more breaths. Inhale, 1. Soft jaw, soft eyes. You don't have to grit in your teeth for this one. 2. There will be a tendency to clench your jaw to do this. You don't have to. Okay, 3. Exhale here. Last little charge up. Okay, drop your foot on the floor heavily. Bang. And then that just shocks into the hip joint. And then rock from side to side. We're going to the foot side and then the knee side. Foot side and then the knee side. Hopefully that makes sense. You're going to the right foot side and then the right knee side. Now, take yourself to the foot side. The whole package of your legs goes to the left side of the mat, and then pause for a moment. If your foot, that right foot, touches the floor happily, you can push into a little bit just to emphasize a little bit of this hip mobility work. And if it doesn't feel good in the lower back, you can come straight back out of it. Just pause for a moment. You can still breathe. All right, let's come into the center. Don't switch the legs yet. We're going to do the passive version. Take your hands around the back of the left thigh or front of the left knee and pause here. Soft mouth. You can open and close your mouth maybe. So we're stretching the right hip and stretching the mouth. So any coupling of tension in the hips, allow it not to have tension in the mouth. So we don't want a coupling of tension coming from hips to jaw. You can smile too wide, open the mouth too wide. And then soft jaw completely. Just let your eyes soften, close, let the tongue and jaw become soft as you remain in this, this number 4 stretch. All right, unhooking from that, and let's do the other side. You can keep your eyes closed because you don't need to open your eyes to switch sides. Left ankle onto right thigh, left knee moves away from you. And then we switch on the right side hip flexors by lifting the right foot off the floor. Push the ankle towards the knee, pulling the knee in, pushing out with the left leg, and then soften your mouth, soften your collarbones, soften any flinching around the shoulders, soften your hands, soften your eyebrows. 3 more breaths. Active number 4 pose. Inhale, 1. Exhale. It's only the lower body. It's not the upper body doing anything. Upper body soft. The lower body can handle it. Inhale, 2. Inhale, 3. Okay, land heavily on your foot, bang, and then rock from side to side, to foot side, to knee side. Even if your rib cage is lifting to be able to reach and touch the knee and then touch the foot, don't aggressively force that touch. This type of asymmetrical twisting, if the lower back is not comfy with it, we have to listen to the lower back. And if it's fine, then it's quite a good asymmetrical twist. Okay, go to the foot side. Left foot maybe touches the floor, maybe. And you can push into the foot just a little bit. You can actually ground into this one for a moment. Take a breath or two, just being careful if you get cramps or if you get awkward pinches, come out of it. Don't stay. And then let's come back and up into the center. And then we'll do the passive stretch. So we hook our hands around the back of the thigh or across the front of the knee and then soften our faces. You can soften both feet. You don't have to flex the feet. Pull your right knee towards your chest. Soft face. You might just release any tension around the jaw by stretching your mouth, stretching your lips across your teeth maybe. If that had a soundtrack, the soundtrack would be wah, wah. So whatever you would need to do with your mouth to make that sound, wah, wah. Smile too wide, open the mouth too far, and then relax. Relax completely in your jaw, in your tongue. And then we'll release, 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 release. Okay, let's do some more twisting. These are if your lower back approves. Feet in, knees out, arms at shoulder height. You can bring your palms to face down, opening and closing the legs like a book. Hopefully the lower back is nice and ready and really dragging the top knee towards the line of the bottom knee. So it's emphasized to try and close the knees and allow them to be in the same line. Don't get too fussy about it, but emphasizing the twist. And we pause for a moment each side to open the book and then close the book and pause for a moment. You're dragging your spine into the twist by opening and closing the legs, and hopefully the outer hip, buttock, and lower back all approve and in fact enjoy Opening and closing. A few more times. We're going to add the kick. All right, add the kick, which means open and close the legs and then kick like you're kicking a soccer ball along the floor. So back into the center, open and kick. Hopefully you've got the space for this. You don't have to kick the cat or the couch. Kicking the cat won't hurt you, but it will hurt the cat. Kicking the couch will hurt you, not the couch. All right, so don't try and get enough space not to kick anything. And it might be that you're trying to kick your hand, which is at shoulder height. It might be that you can reach to kick your own hand. That can be a bit of a mobility challenge that you place on yourself if that's not too aggressive. Okay, now we're going to twist, kick, catch. So let's twist, kick, catch. Doesn't matter which side. Maybe catching the underside of the knee, calf, or heel. If you've caught your heel, then lengthen the leg. And softly close your eyes and breathe. So you've caught a leg somewhere, somehow, and then you're just softening into this lateral stretch. It's the outer hip stretching. You might have the lateral line of your hamstrings. If you've got your legs straightening, lengthening, then you'll be lateral line of hamstrings are stretching too. And then come back in and let's have a little rock from side to side so the lower back can soften again. Just rock in the center. Okay, twist, kick, catch in the other direction. Twist, kick, catch somewhere. And then settle in, soften as much as you can soften. Close your eyes, soften your jaw. Deepen the breath. And then back into the center. Okay, rock a little from side to side. We're coming off the ground now so that we can come into hands and knees. Before we come to hands and knees, let's just get our hands ready. If you just bend your knees, place the feet onto the floor, bring your fingertips to the sky, and then just close your hands into fists and nod your fists to allow the wrists to be a bit ready for the hands and knees work that we're doing next. So nodding your fists, rolling your fists so that you can get a little rotation in the forearms, rolling the wrists, rolling the fists, roll the fists in the other direction, respecting your hands, your wrists, your forearms, just respecting yourself, everything that's included. All right, rock up to sitting or roll over. We'll come to hands and knees next. So hands and knees, spread your fingers. Okay, let's move in any which way. We'll have a moment of spinal movement that is free form, whatever comes, whatever the spine wants. Noticing that the neck is a part of your spine, so you're moving the pelvis, the ribs, and the head in any which way you feel like it. And you might find that you're so free in this movement that it's really slow and very indescribable. You couldn't quite know which part of the spine is in forward bend or side bend, or there might be some twists. You can drop an elbow so that you're allowed to take a bit of twist. I think it's particularly interesting if we drop an elbow down and then just kink and take the spine into side stretch and a bit of twist. I find there's real access to side oblique stretch. There's some really nice moon shape here. And so you might add that to your freeform practice play where you drop one elbow and then really kink. Allow this little bit of twist, a little bit of side stretch. And then let's come into our wide-kneed child's pose. We're going to go from wide-kneed child's pose to Bekasana the frog. So I like to turn on my mat and then open my knees. I'm particularly flexible, but I find that I need the padding on my knees for this wide kneed child's pose first, and then we'll come down onto our elbows. So you've opened your knees as wide as you're willing. Toes are still touching just for the moment, and you just let yourself become accustomed. You're acclimatizing to this very open hip position. All right, let's add the feet opening as well. So the feet come out. You've got your toes face out. The feet are flexed. The toes to heels, heels to knees is kind of forming a very strong line. And then from knees to hips, we're going to walk forwards on our elbows and then come back again. So walking forwards and backwards, you can use your elbows to walk forwards and backwards. So you're keeping your knees and feet where they are, and then moving your pelvis, which is very interesting in the hips. Hopefully your hips feel ready for this, because this can be quite deep. Okay, pulling backwards and staying back for a little while. Pull the pelvis back, the bum back, which makes it very wide open hip position. And take a couple of breaths there. Of course, we don't want to be aggressive. We want to be respectful in the hips and the tissues around the hips. We want to place challenge without aggression. All right, so we're closing our feet first. So you might have to come slightly a little bit forwards to close the feet, and then walk yourself back. Take yourself back onto your hands. Take the body weight onto the hands so that you can close your legs. Oh, and it might be that the hips are so happy to close, and we'll just sit up for a moment. Can you sit onto your feet? This is called Vajrasan, the thunderbolt. We'll just sit for a moment, let our hands soften, open onto our lap. Let's just let our head be held high for a moment. We've done so much really precise and interesting work in the legs, and we'll just let the legs be kind of sat upon for a moment. All right. Take the feet to the left. So you're sitting to the right of your feet. And so you've got your feet quite close. They're not going too far away. We're just going to tuck the feet in. We're going to twist towards the right, left hand to right knee, and then spin the lungs in Bharavadrasan. Just spin the lungs into this twist. Breathe into the lower belly area, because this twist catches, because the pelvis is grounded, it catches in the psoas muscles. And the psoas muscles, if you breathe downwards, you can touch them with your breath. Using your arms, using your hands to spin the lung. This is really beautiful when we torsion here and then breathe against the torsion. Torsion just means twist and allow in this position. So the torsioning, twisting, breathing against that. And then come into the center. So we're going to do a familiar movement from an unfamiliar place. We're going to push down on the right knee and the right hand and side stretch. So straight into that side stretch. That's it. That's it. And so we'll take this moment to do some shoulder and elbow circles. So use that top arm, play into some circles. You can take the fingertips onto the shoulder if you want to. You can really emphasize the side stretching. I like pulling from my elbow into the side stretch, not doing anything that doesn't feel good, and moving a little bit from the shoulder and rib cage, and then come back into that Bharavadrasan position, back into just sitting to the right side of your heels. Lift up, sit onto your heels, and then drop the heel, bring the heels to the right, the bum to the left. We're doing that with no hands on purpose. All right, so we're twisting away from the feet side, right hand to the left knee, and then spin the lung. Breathe deeply into the belly. breathing against the twist. Last breath here. And then settling back into the center. Side stretch. So we're going to push down through the left knee and left hand and then open out into that side stretch. Reaching up and out. And then moving the top arm around freely. You can reach backwards or forwards or whatever that arm wants. You can bend the elbow, fingertips onto the shoulder, and then just play around, pulling into the side stretch from the elbow if you feel like that, or doing elbow circles. And then sitting back down into that. It's like we're sitting at a picnic with a tight skirt on. This is what this position reminds me of. Okay, up and sitting back onto your heels. So now we're going to do, we've maybe explored this. We're going to go in a circle with no hands. So let's bring the bum to the right. So you're off your feet. And then the feet forwards without using your hands. So the feet are out front. You can lift your feet up for a moment. We're going to try and bring the feet to the right side. And there's a bit of a hike there, back into that sitting in a tight skirt with a tight skirt on at a picnic. And then back up onto your knees. And then sit back down. So this little exercise is just doing a circle. And we don't want to use our hands, but we use our hands if we need to. All right, which side did we do? I think we went to the right. Okay, let's go to the left. So bum to the left this time without using our hands. Feet to the front, unhook. Feet are out front. Hopefully you don't get a cramp or any strain. Okay, lift your feet up for a moment. Hike the feet to the left side. Is that right? And then sit back onto your heels. Hopefully that was the right order. I got a bit lost. All right, so let's see if we can do a couple of circles without too much fussing. So let's bring our bum to the right, feet around to the front. We're in a bit of a boat pose, and then hike yourself around and then sit back onto your feet in one big circle. Let's go in the other circle. The bum to the left, feet around the front. Hike yourself back into the Bharavadrasana and then sit back onto your feet. Let's do 2 more circles. So just keep changing direction. I've kind of lost the plot on which direction we're going in. So using your arms, but not on the ground. It might be a little throw of the arms. See if you can do the whole circle without needing to touch the floor. Okay, and then sit onto your feet. Hopefully that didn't strain any part of your lower body, and just let yourself rest in a meditative moment. All right, we're going to, hopefully that's not straining anybody. We're going to add to that. So we're going to let's bring bum to right or off the feet. Let's take the left foot in front for a moment. Take the left foot in front. And see if you can stand up, pushing through the left foot, stand up. If that was possible, you've done very well. You're in the 10% of mobility range. Okay, the right leg is going back down. We're sitting back down. Sit back down, sit back down. No hands. Tuck that foot under and then sit onto the feet. So this is standing up with no hands. If you need your hands, you use your hands. If your knees or your lower back doesn't like it, bum to the left. Okay, bring your right foot out front. Just adjust yourself so that you can stand up. You're going to push through your right foot. Stand up. Was it possible? If so, that was very, very good. Okay, left foot comes down and behind. We're using the power of that right leg to lower ourselves gently. Tuck the foot back and sit on your heel. This is standing up with no hands mobility. All right, can we do it smoothly? We're going to go bum to the right, left foot in front, stand up, and then back down again. So this is so that you can hold the baby and not drop the baby. Sit back down, tuck your foot, sit back onto your heels. So holding the baby, don't drop the baby. Bum to the left, right foot comes around, stand up, and then back down. Beep, 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 beep. Take the foot around and sit back onto your feet. All right, very well done. Let's come onto our hands and knees again. I'm going to take spread of the hands, tuck through the toes, and into down dog. Release your head and neck. Bend one knee at a time. Let's stretch the toes from down dog. So pushing back into toe stretching. Hopefully none of that mobility work from seated to standing up without the arms has agitated any part of your anatomy. All right, so spread your fingers because we're up into three-legged dog, and then knee to the chest, moving and breathing like a pump. And maybe inhale through the nose, but exhale, making a shush sound. Inhale, lift up. Very dramatically. There might be a bit of spit on your mat. Lift and one more. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift up, 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 up. Let's go instead of to lizard. Instead of to one-legged pigeon, we're going to lizard. So right foot to right side of right hand, big step. Back knee down, hands into fists, and just rock forwards and backwards. All right, let's peel back, flex front foot. Your hands can come back with you and stay. So you're on hamstring stretch, the foot's to the right side of the hands. All right, we're going from the lizard lunge, come forwards onto the lizard lunge, lean on the left hand, reach your right hand back, maybe touch the back foot, see if you can touch the back foot, bend the knee, touch the foot, just clap it, and then come through the center, straighten the legs, and touch the back knee. That's it, straight legs touch the knee, bent knees, touch the back foot, all the way around from the foot and then back through to the knee. So sweeping a big arc with your right arm. 2 more before we catch the foot and stay. Okay, catch the foot if you can. You don't have to. If it's not appropriate to catch the foot, don't. If you can, look down at your left hand and come down onto your elbow. If that feels appropriate, that's going to make it quite deep. And if you're like, no way, man, come back onto your hand. So you can lower down onto your elbow, maybe. If you're feeling really limber, pull the heel towards the bum. Stay a while, couple of breaths. And it may be that you can't catch your back foot, in which case you're just reaching back, but you don't have to stay there. You can even take your hand onto your knee just to encourage the twist without the quad stretch. All right, let's come back through to down dog, step back, then one knee at a time. We're going back to moving and breathing like a pump with a real emphasis of blowing out the air through the teeth or the lips. Okay, lift the left foot up and one more. Stay, knee into the chest, stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift the left foot up, left foot to left side of left hand, lizard lunge. Hands into fists and rocking forwards and backwards. All right, stay back, flex front foot, hands can be on the mat. And then come forwards and we'll lean on the right hand, reach backwards, and it may be bend the knee. If you touch the foot, great. Reach underneath, clap the back knee, clap the back foot, clap the back knee, clap the back foot, back knee. Okay, catch the back foot and stay. Look down at your right hand. Is it possible to lower down onto your right elbow instead? And then sink in and soften all that you can soften. If it's too much, go a little less intense. You can always come out of it early. We're not torturing ourselves. We're allowing some space. And if that space is torturous, then back out a little bit. Pull the heel towards the buttock just for the last few seconds of this one. And then back to down dog, hands down, foot back. All right, bend one knee at a time, release your head and neck. We're going to do some work from Warrior 2. Let's grab some blocks first. So bring your blocks and belt into the center. We only need our block for our Warrior 2 work that we're going to do. We're going to do right leg stepping forwards first from down dog. Right foot steps forwards, big step, back foot square. Grab your block, Warrior 2. So stay in the Warrior 2 and pass your block from hand to hand in a big circle. Around the back, around the front. So passing the block in a big circle, bend your knee deeply, that's it. So classical mobility, work on shoulders. Okay, pass it in the other direction. So pass it to the other hand. Big circles, trying to keep the shoulders nice and high. Keep the block nice and high. Okay, let's bend the right knee deeply. Take the block into the right hand. We're going into triangle pose. Take the block onto the outside edge of the right heel and then lengthen the leg and lift the left hand up. 3 breaths triangle. It's a very wide stance for a triangle. We're doing a triangle that's usually a bit more narrow, but we're nice and wide with the legs. That's great. Okay, last breath, triangle. Okay, bend the knee. Bring the left hand onto the left hip. We're lifting up. We're going to go into half moon. Block comes further forwards in line with the right foot. Tap, tap, lift, 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 lift. Lift the left hand and see if you can stay for a couple of breaths. Leaning on that block or not. Lifting the gaze slowly. The left foot can lift into the line of the hip maybe. Okay, last breath, half moon. And then let's land. Block out of the way, back to down dog. Bend one knee at a time, release your head and neck. Step the left foot forwards, big step for Warrior 2 on the left. Grab your block. Bend the left knee. Pass the block now over the shoulder to the bottom hand. So you're passing the block from the top hand behind you to the bottom hand, if possible. I would go long edge, pass from the long edge. So passing from the top hand to the bottom hand, maybe the blocks dropping on the ground. Keep going. We'll do 5 more sets. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're going to go to the triangle pose. Left hand has the block, whichever direction you passed it. Left hand has the block. Left hand and block behind the left heel, and then we stretch into triangle and breathe. Nice lengthened legs and lengthened arms, maybe gazing up, maybe gazing into the center. Wide-legged triangle pose. We're going from this wide-legged triangle pose, right hand onto the hip, bend the knee. Lift up for a moment because we want to bring the block a little further forwards for half moon. Tap, 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 lift, 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 lift. Lift the back arm maybe and breathe. Couple of breaths. Hopefully you're feeling really ready for this half moon position. Sometimes the hips take a little while for the readiness. But hopefully we've done all the work that is required for us to feel stable and grounded in half moon. And then land, gently, gently, gently land. Get rid of the block. Back to down dog, then one knee at a time. Pull your tailbone right up to the sky, pulling into a nice lifted tailbone, as though you've got a big long tail and somebody's pulling the tail. Release your head and neck. All right, let's come back down onto our knees. Bring the feet to the front. We're going to use our belt next. There's a couple more positions. We're going to stretch our legs with the belt. So lying down, open your belt out, catch your right foot in the belt. Catch the ball rather than the arch of the foot. The ball of the belt of the ball of the foot into the belt. Okay, so pull your right foot towards you, lengthen your left leg down. Just let ourselves soften in the eyes. We're basically doing splits in the air. Bring both sides of the belt into your right hand and bring the foot out to the side. Your left hand shoulder is on the ground and you can look away from the foot. We're feeling nice and limber in the hips and ready for this type of activity. Lengthen the legs a little bit more. So you've still got energy in the legs. It's not all soft. We're lengthening the legs as we stretch and open the hip. You can pull the foot a little higher, so it's lengthening and lifting. We're going to swap. So bring the leg into the center, swap hands because you're going into the twist. So hopefully feeling quite ready for all of this deep stretch. We're lingering in stretch now. So if you feel like you need to roll your hand into the belt to soften the grip of the hand a little bit, if you can reach your foot, just catch your foot instead of the belt. Look away from the foot, soft in the face, but lengthened a little in the legs. And then bring yourself back up to the center. Just unhook that foot, bend both knees, give yourself a little rock from side to side to reset the pelvis. And let's do the other side. So belt around the ball of the left foot. Lengthen the leg, lengthen the other leg down and surrender. So keep the legs lengthening, not too soft in the legs, just lengthening and stretching. Soft face. Both sides of the belt in the left hand. So bring the foot out to the side. You can look away from the leg. Shoulders are soft. Keep lifting the foot up and out. And then switch hands. So the foot comes across into the twist. It's like a lying down twisted triangle. You can take the left hand out, look away from the foot, keep lengthening the leg. If you can catch the foot, and soften the face, but keep lengthening the leg. And back into the center with that foot. Come out of the belt. Bring both blocks underneath the bum so that we can play in Viparita Karani. That is going to be the last exploration. 2 blocks stacked. If you've got cork bricks, you can take your 1 cork brick in top edge if you want. Otherwise, 2 bricks stacked on top of each other underneath the sacrum. Don't go too low, otherwise the pelvis won't be able to just rest on the blocks as we lift the feet to the sky. Viparita Karani, roll the shoulders under. You can either catch your hands or bring fists into your hands and push into the arms. Soft face, closed eyes. Just let the feet float to the sky. All right, let's play around with the legs now that the hips are free of any weight bearing. We can open and close the legs out, drop the legs out, and then zip them up. Drop them out, blunk. Zip them up, drop them out, blunk. Zip them up, one more, drp them out, blunk. Zip them up, that was the soundtrack to your legs. Just soften the legs, so bend the knees, just let the pelvis and the legs soften for a moment. We're going to do the cross-country skiing exercise next. So shoot the heels towards the sky, flex through the feet, and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften, just relax the legs for a sec. This time we're going to crisscross, so scissoring. Point through the toes this time, and then cross the legs and cross the legs and cross and cross. Scissoring your legs. If you get a cramp in your foot, just flex the feet. You can do it with flex feet or pointed feet, but sometimes when we point our toes, we get cramps in our feet. So cross and cross and cross, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften the legs, just soften the jaw, soft, soft. Last exercise. Hopefully the lower back is loving all of this, not hating us. Hold the right knee with your right hand and lengthen the left leg down. So you've got hip extension on left hip. Okay, bring the left knee in, switch, right leg down, hip extension on the right side, holding the left knee. And then both knees bent. Just let our lower back soften for a moment. We're going to drop 1 foot at a time on the floor. 1 foot, and then the other foot lift off the blocks. Take the pelvis back to the floor, draw your knees into your chest, have a little hug and a rock around. And sitting up for our closing ceremony. If you can't stay for the closing ceremony, if you need to go right away on the hour, then you can go. Otherwise, sitting onto a block in any comfortable seat. We can close our eyes. Turn your palms open on your lap. And soften your hands. Soften your face and your jaw. And each time you breathe, the hands are opening on the inhale just a little bit, animating the breath, and then softening to close. You don't have to close all the way to fingertips touching, but the hands just close a little bit. And then we open, inhale, and then softly close, exhale. You might animate with a very, very soft movement in the spine as well. It might be that your chin drops just a little bit on the exhale. Inhale, we open the chest and open the chin just a little bit, feeling a brightness like the sun shining. And then we exhale, hands and a little bit of animation in the spine, like closing like a flower and opening. The lotus flower opens to the sun and then closes at the end of the day. Feeling the hands are holding two beautiful white, bright lotus flowers as they open to the sun. And then they close at the end of the day, the petals closing. We might animate the diaphragm as a lotus flower as well. So there's 3 lotus flowers opening to the sun on the inhale and closing to the night on the exhale. You might actually see that brightness on the inside. It's like the brightness comes all the way through to the backs of the eyes. Behind the closed eyes, there's brightness on the inhalation and then a darkness on the exhalation. You can feel the light from our hands, both hands, and our diaphragm as though there's a lotus in the center. Each time we inhale, it's bright. And each time we exhale, we close to night. Nice and bright on each inhale. And then closing to darkness on the exhale. 3 more. Breathing, hands, meditation. 3 lotus flowers opening brightly. Hands and chest glowing on the inhale and then darkening on the exhale. Last one, opening to brightness, sun, day, active, social, and then closing, night, yin, dark, resting, personal. And come into a central place, have the hands resting on each other in the center. Soften our face. Our practice is a living prayer. The practice of yoga is a living prayer, a prayer through movement, a prayer through breathing, a living prayer, living, breathing prayers. And the mantra that comes to mind, there's always a different mantra that comes to mind, is Green Tara mantra, Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha, bowing to the radiance of ourselves, bowing and acknowledging our own radiance, the radiant being. Green Tara is not outside of ourselves, it's reminding ourselves that we are the radiant being, behind the emotions that come and go like winds. Let the emotions come and go like the wind. We are the radiant being that experiences those emotions. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha. 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 One more round. Om Tare tutare, ture, soha, om tare, tutare, ture, soha. You can place that green Tara mantra on a loop in the mind. You can chant it for the rest of the day, muttering the mantra for the rest of the day, perhaps. And you can just rest in your meditation or relaxation, whatever comes next. Courageous in your heart, radiant being, experiencing the world, experiencing the emotions, experiencing the thoughts. You're the radiant being, using our yoga practice as a living prayer. Pleasure to practice with you again today. Namaste.